All right, we're back here again on Ed's Edge. Today's conversation is going to be about the defense of George W. Bush. As you might know, he's been on TV everywhere. Hannity, Matt Lauer, Oprah. He just came out with his book called Decision Points, and we're hearing the same old bash George Bush people. And I just want to set the record straight in his defense because too many people have thrown out lies and accusations and things that just, aren't even close to being the truth. Or they stretch the truth and they just add it to fit their agenda. So what I believe happened is in 2000 we had one of the closest elections ever between George Bush and Al Gore, and I believe people didn't get over the fact that George W. Bush won. They felt like the election was stolen. They felt like somebody cheated. I guess I can understand that because if I was in your same shoes, rooting for Al Gore, then I guess I could understand also where I might feel cheated. But there was no cheating involved. What happened was the Florida Supreme Court was overstepping their bounds, so the Supreme Court had to bring them back in to reality. And George W. Bush won every single time. There's this thing called the Freedom of Information Act, and news sources, independent news sources, they've all looked and they counted the votes, and each and every time George W. Bush still won. So let's get that myth out of there. George W. Bush never did steal the election. It was close, yes. But we also had a close election in 1960 between John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon. And that election was so close that they could have had a recount. But Richard Nixon said no, he didn't want to take the country through that. And that's why Al Gore is a son of a bitch, because he took our country through that crap and just made it way worse than it ever was. And that's why people believe that the election was stolen and that George Bush, some people say he wasn't a legitimate president or whatever. So I think them people were already mad because George Bush won. And 2001 happened, so therefore all their hatred, they kind of had to be quiet because the country was the closest that it's ever been. It was more united than ever. George W. Bush's poll numbers, his popularity was in the 90s. So, I mean, he was way up there. So, therefore, it wasn't the in thing. It wasn't the cool thing anymore to bash Bush. So, you people that want to blame Bush for 9/11, let's see. Yeah, he received a presidential daily briefing that said bin Laden determined to attack in America. He did receive that. But what would you have him do? What was he supposed to do? That is very vague. There's nothing that he could really do or say that bin Laden is determined to attack in America. What's he supposed to do? What would you have done? I mean, I think he did the best that he could. Honestly, I think he really did. And for you lunatics out there that want to say that 9/11 was an inside job and the government was behind it, you need to take off your aluminum foil hats. You need to quit contacting the aliens. And I'll tell you the truth. If you really want to know the truth, there was no inside job. How could there be an inside job? Think about it for a second. You can't keep anything secret for very long. So you're going to tell, and for very, very few people that you can keep something secret from. So you're going to tell me, let's say 30,000 people are involved in the 9/11 conspiracy. How are you going to keep 30,000 people quiet? That's not going to happen. Somebody's going to leak it. Somebody's going to let them know. The news media know, hey, here's what really happened. But no, no. You still go on with your little fairy tale and you believe 9/11 was an inside job. Yeah. Well, say hi to Mickey Mouse as well because you're definitely living in Disneyland. All right. So we dismissed you people because you guys are really crazy. And if you're so much into conspiracy stuff, shouldn't you be careful? Because the government knows where you are. Can't you hear them? They're knocking at your door. Hey, you better watch yourself because they've been watching you. They're coming for you. Yeah, you guys are just the smart ones, aren't you? That you could say the government was involved in 9/11. Okay, whatever. So we got that done. What else? Oh, so people want to complain about Bush invading Iraq and call weapons of mass destruction. Well, guess what? Al Gore, John Kerry, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Ted Kennedy, they all thought that Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. 9/11 changed the way we view the foreign policy, which is people say, well, Iraq wasn't involved in 9/11. Iraq never attacked us. Well, you know what? Prior to 9/11, Al Qaeda never attacked the United States of America either. Where'd that get us? So you're going to tell me we should sit around and wait till Iraq hits us again? Oh, whatever. I guarantee you this: for you people that are the ones, what I like to call the Bush haters, and that want to say he should have never invaded Iraq, you would be the same political hacks that would sit there and say, why didn't Bush do anything? For instance, if Bush didn't invade Iraq and we left Saddam the way he was, and he had an intelligence report from Britain that they were selling pure uranium, yellow cake, to make nuclear weapons. So therefore, let's say we let that go, and Saddam gets in contact with some terrorist group, and Arizona, well, let's say California. Hey, you guys are crazy. So let's just say California. Now, California got nuked, and it was traced back to some terrorist group, and then it was traced back to Saddam Hussein that gave it to the terrorist group. What would you be doing then? I guarantee you, you'd be saying, Bush, why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you do anything? You should be impeached. This guy's, unfit for command. He should be out of here. Treason, whatever. Derelict of duty. You would just be going ape shit and trying to get Bush gone and trying to say he should have done this, he should have done that. Well, you few people are the ones that can't have your cake and eat it too, even if it is yellow cake. And yes, I did mean that pun there. But like I said, you can't win. And unlike you, you're sitting around there, you can Monday morning quarterback every day. Well, George W. Bush is the president of the United States, and he doesn't have that luxury to sit there and second guess himself. He's got to make the best call that he believes, and I believe that's truly what he did. Okay, so we got the weapons of mass destruction. Let's also not forget, Saddam did have them before, so we knew that he could make them. Remember, he bombed his own people, the Kurds. So we knew that he did have them before. You can't just sit around and wait to get hit. I'm totally with Bush on that. And if you guys are really, really true Americans, you would truly understand that, because he did the best that he could. There wasn't another 9/11 that happened, so therefore he kept us safe. And if you want to say he didn't keep us safe, look at all the things that happened under Clinton's watch that led to 9/11. The Khobar Towers, Tanzania, the African embassy bombings, USS Cole, World Trade Center 93 bombing, Black Hawk Down in Somalia. I mean, all this stuff led to 9/11, and Bill Clinton did nothing. There were times that he could have killed bin Laden. They already had it ready to go. The order was there, and they said no. One time there was some Saudi prince that was there, and so they couldn't do it. Come on, man. 9/11 could have been prevented. So how are you going to blame Bush? If you're going to blame Bush, you damn sure better blame Clinton. Because first of all, you blaming Bush makes no sense. But if you blame Clinton, well, that's pretty obvious. Like I said, I listed all the things that happened underneath his watch and the opportunities that he had to kill bin Laden, and he didn't do it. Okay, so I think we pretty much got that. Oh, the mission accomplished one. You guys always like to rub that in his face when he was over there on the battleship and he said mission accomplished. Well, the mission accomplished sign was for that group, for the military Navy there that was returning back from Iraq. Their mission was accomplished because they went over, they did what they needed to do, and they all came back, and Bush was there to give a speech on the Iraq war. And you guys just rubbed it in his face and said, oh, he was saying mission was accomplished like we already won in Iraq. No, he never did that. He never said that. That's what you guys perceived it as. That's the way you took it. You know why? Because you wanted to just beat him over the head some more with a damn ball bat. Just pound him and pound him and pound him. And overall, that's what you did. That's why his numbers when he left office were in the 30s. Because you guys pounded and pounded and pounded him. But let me tell you what also what you did prevent. Because of what you did to Bush with the Iraq war, he was unable to stop Iran from getting nuclear rods. And now they got their nuclear capabilities going on, being funded by Russia and North Korea, Iran. They're all doing this thing together, and nobody can do anything about it because we're kind of, I don't know what the word is really. I mean, under Bush, he would have done something, but under Obama, I don't believe he will do anything. But under Bush, he would have, if he would have had the support of the people through the Iraq war, but he didn't. So now we're stuck with, a nuclear Iran. That's good. Okay, so what else now, the amnesty thing, I was totally against Bush on that. Totally against it. I even called my senators, I emailed people. I went to protest marches against the illegal aliens because, you know, that's just, I've been over that many times. You have to look at my other videos and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about there and my views on that. Okay, so we got that amnesty out. What else did Bush do that you guys didn't like? Oh, Katrina? Oh, okay, Katrina. First of all, the President of the United States cannot come out and just send the National Guard in wherever he wants. So, uh, what, so what he, so what was he supposed to do with Katrina? First of all, Blanco, she was the one that was in charge of federalizing the National Guard, and Bush wanted to, but she said no. And then Mayor Nagin, uh, they said no. They said no. They said that they got it covered, and so Bush couldn't do anything, unless there was an insurrection there, then he could send them in, but he didn't do that either. So therefore, what was he supposed to do? Because these people were negligent in their handling of Katrina, but yet they blamed it on Bush, even though it wasn't his fault. Now, you people say he didn't do anything, when he was supposed to. He didn't land Air Force One. He didn't come in there. Well, if he would have landed Air Force One, imagine all the people he would have took away from the people that are helping the people there in Katrina. If Bush is on the ground, he's going to have all these security people and all these media people, and they're going to be all over him when all these people should be helping the Katrina survivors and the Katrina victims and stuff. So therefore, that was smart of Bush not to do that. And so, but you want to blame him again because you don't like Bush. See, this all goes back to 2000, that you people didn't like Bush when he won the election because you thought he cheated, but you couldn't say nothing during 9/11. So therefore, you waited later on, and then the first hint of any kind of negativism with Bush, you were just quick to go right there at him because you already hated him. So I pretty much think that the bailout, yeah, he was for the bailout, the TARP, and that wasn't good. I think then people should have, failed. They can't sell their cars, and they need to lower them from 30,000 to 20,000 or to 15,000 so they can sell their cars and make their money. I mean, it doesn't work like that for us, so it shouldn't work like that for them as well. So I think he was wrong. I think he was wrong on that department, but you know, you can't always agree with somebody 100%, but 80% is a hell of a lot better than 50%. So there you go. Well, I believe I pretty much laid it out. I know there's a lot of Bush haters, and I definitely look forward to hearing from you all. All right.